Edgar Degas was one of the most important artists of the Impressionist era. A quote from Degas says, "Even in front of nature, one must compose."
Wandering around strange places, looking in every corner, I don't know, it keeps you refreshed. It's all very different. Once it gets to be a photograph, and then it gets blown up, and then it's a silk screen, and then color follows, and then this is a juxtaposition of imagery that is hopefully non-logical.
There may or may not be an idea, and the meaning may just be that the painting exists. And then, like anything, disturbs people or calms people, or what they find, people find something to do with it. It's in the space in which they are, and they react to it.
Pollock is still taken for this example of far-outism. The people who admire him most don't take him as a painter. They take him as an artist in the line of Duchamp. Someone who knocked you flat with his arbitrariness.
I stayed with that painting for about 8-9 months, wondering to myself, what had I done? What was it? And I realized that up until then, whenever I used that attitude, I was filling the canvas in order to make that thing very, very viable. And suddenly, in this particular painting moment, I realized that I had filled the surface. It was full. In that painting, I got rid of atmosphere.
I had a lot of mouth cuts out of magazines, and I noticed that when I had something, a photographic image like this, the mouth, it gave me a point of reference. It was something to hold on to.
The subject of a work and the objects in the work, I think, makes a remarkable distinction that should help people understand that even though, let's say, my painting as it developed did not have any of those objects, that it did not necessarily mean, therefore, that there was no subject there.
Some of the most important aspects of making paintings are composition, personal voice, technical proficiency, meaning, magic and spirit, and orchestration. And though there are other things that are important, these 6 ingredients could be called the key elements of good painting. Whereas composition is the organization of the structural, architectural aspects of the painting. Essentially, it's the organization of the two-dimensional shapes on the flat picture plane. Personal voice is the expression of the artist. the recognizability of the artist in the painting. It's what makes it possible to recognize a Van Gogh as a Van Gogh, a Pollock as a Pollock, or an Andy Warhol as an Andy Warhol. Technical proficiency is the handling of the medium. It's getting past the demonstration of skill and having the painting look relevant to the style and totally natural. The highest level of technical proficiency is when you don't see the technical proficiency. Meaning is the element of the painting that carries literal, psychological, emotional, or conceptual import. The magic and spirit idea can only be described as that certain ineffable something that draws us to the painting, that gives it charisma, that it quality, and staying power. Orchestration offers much of the practical work an artist does. It's very much what the name implies, the orchestration of all the elements at the artist's disposal. It's how the artist handles color, shapes, edges, textures, lines, marks, brush strokes, density and rest, paint quality, space, tones, contrast, and rhythm. All the formal elements the artist can work with. The key with orchestration is variation, meaningful variation. And we can break orchestration down into two types, classic and eccentric. The approach of classic orchestration grew up over time as artists worked and sought harmony and integration in their paintings. The basic idea of classic orchestration is to spread the different elements one is using somewhat evenly throughout the painting. In other words, to have a little bit of what one is working with in all parts of the painting. To spread the colors throughout the painting, the textural elements one is working with throughout the painting, the lines throughout the painting. The idea is that by spreading things evenly throughout the painting, in all parts of the painting, there arises a strong sense of unity. Things all work together as one unit. This is because there are interlocking relationships. This is classic orchestration. With eccentric orchestration, the ideas of classic orchestration are not so rigidly followed. Things are a little out of the box. And the normal spreading of elements is handled differently. Yet the idea, concept, or spirit of the painting is so strong it carries the painting. The classic approach to orchestration is to use the concept of working all over. This means to spread all the elements you're working on around the painting simultaneously. This can mean spreading the lines, the textures, the colors, or whichever formal element you're working with. The idea is not to finish any one area first, but build the whole painting simultaneously as much as possible to a conclusion. Henri Matisse was an artist who worked primarily using classic orchestration. We can see in this painting how he orchestrated his colors throughout the painting. He spread the reds throughout, the turquoises. All the colors are spread across the painting in a way which creates integrated, interwoven relationships. It's the interwoven aspect that creates the sense of harmony and unity. This interwoven, spread across the painting idea is what characterizes classic orchestration. It's an interwoven dance of relationships. Every aspect of the artwork can be orchestrated. And it's not just about spreading the colors, textures, marks, or whatever. It's about how you do it. About how you change the sizes, color tones, spacing, etc. About how you create variation that has interest and perhaps meaning. We can see in this Raoul Dufy how he's used large lines, small lines, broad lines, and a dry brush quality. He's orchestrated the lines with good variation. We can see the same attention to orchestration in this Jackson Pollock painting. The orchestration of density is how the areas of complexity and simplicity are arranged. It's how the areas of simplicity and complexity are interwoven into the painting. In this Picasso, we can see how he's used very dense areas, areas of moderate density, and areas with relatively little. All this is the orchestration of density. As with musical orchestration, orchestrating paintings requires attention to details of variation.